Good evening, I'm Maddie Phillips, and thanks for tuning in to KHTX National News, reporting live from Houston, Texas. Today, December 31st, 1993, we have a special broadcast for you. We are going to be looking back into the past 3 years from 1990 to 1993. We will be covering everything from Hurricane Andrew to the World Wide Web. First, we're going over to Lauren Yaney with the national news.
Thanks, Maddie. Today, the first thing we will be reflecting back on is the 1992 Hurricane Andrew, which devastated Florida and Louisiana. Hurricane Andrew was a Category 5 hurricane with winds up to 175 miles per hour. This is a very severe hurricane, and many homes and buildings were destroyed. It is sad to see these states suffer from just a natural disaster. Ever since the hurricane, these two states are building right back up again, which various charities are still helping and rebuilding these homes and buildings to this day.
And now we're going to interview Meredith Jones, a survivor of Hurricane Andrew.
Hi, Meredith. So, how has your house been affected by Hurricane Andrew?
Well, there was debris everywhere and it was flooding a lot, and a tree went right through the middle of it.
I'm very sorry about that. Has there been any help to you?
Well, there's been lots of charities, and the Red Cross has helped me a lot get through this tough time.
Perfect.
Another thing we will be reflecting back on is the inauguration of Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is our 42nd President of the United States. The Cold War is now ended, and we have a fresh start to the United States. We can see a lot more peace in our nation thus far. I think Bill Clinton is transforming our nation for the better. If he is doing well for this first year, he can sure do a lot more things in the years to come. Back to you, Maddie.
Thanks, Lauren. Wow, that's amazing how our country comes together in times of need. Now we're going to head over to Bailey Rohde. She is going to talk to us about some technology advances that have helped us progress into the future. Bailey?
Thanks, Maddie. As all of y'all are aware, great changes have occurred over these past years. The most significant change would be Robert Callaloo and Tim Berners-Lee release of their invention, the World Wide Web. This invention, becoming publicly available August 6, 1991, changed the world as we know it. With its many different uses, such as being able to access information, people all around the world were in shock first learning about it. Thanks to this amazing invention, people are now able to connect and share things through technology. Since then, the world has evolved in unimaginable ways, such as being able to upload images since 1992 and eventually to easy-to-use web browsers for commercial businesses. Another technological advance that shocked the world with its invention was the creation of the IBM personal communicator. Also known as a smartphone, this prototype was introduced in 1992. Users were presented with utilities such as a calendar, world clock, and the ability to send and receive emails, all from the phone. But of course, all of y'all are already aware of these inventions, since the majority of the nation uses them. So let's go. Now I'm going to interview a user of the smartphone.
Go.
Now I'm here with smartphone user Vicky. Vicky, when did you first get the smartphone?
I got the smartphone right when I heard about it.
Oh, that's nice. So Vicky, what's your favorite part about the smartphone?
Well, I love to send emails from anywhere to all my friends.
That's just great. Let's go back to Maddie to hear what else happened these past few years.
Thanks, Bailey, for that great information about all of our inventions that have helped us advance to the future. Now I'm going to throw it over to Megan Segura to hear about the pop culture and entertainment. Megan, how are you doing this lovely
I'm doing
news?
great, thanks Maddie. Today the first thing I'll be talking about is a few of the most popular movies that came out in 1990 through 1993. In 1990, the first Home Alone came out, which is about an 8-year-old troublemaker that has to protect his home from burglars, which he has accidentally left home by his family during vacation. In 1991, Terminator 2: Judgment Day came out. The main actor in this movie is Arnold Schwarzenegger, which plays a cyborg that is ordered to protect Sarah Connor's son. In 1992, Batman Returns came out. In this movie, another superhero rises to stop the new crime that is brought up in the city. And in 1993, Jurassic Park was released into theaters. This movie is about how clone dinosaurs run amok during a preview tour of the park. These are a few most well-known movies throughout these 4 years. Music also played a huge role during this time. Hip-hop grew and became highly successful during this time. Here are a few of the songs that really topped the charts. Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice in 1990.
Got the hook while my DJ revolves it. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby.
Another popular one was Black or White by Michael Jackson in 1991. And in 1993, Hathaway released What Is Love to the public.
Thanks, Megan. Home Alone from 1990 is one of my personal favorite movies. Moving on from pop culture, we're going to Colin Robertson to hear about the latest scandals and successes of the United States. Colin?
Thanks, Maddie. Looking at the last 3 years, both politically and economically, we've had some ups and downs. Mostly downs, but currently President Bill Clinton is slowly getting us out of this mess. Let's start from the beginning. There are many factors that contributed to the decline of the Bush presidency, but I believe that it started from a smaller political position. Let's start with 1990. Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry was arrested on drug charges. He was charged with possession of crack cocaine and served 6 months in jail. Public rumors are saying that Barry's best friend, Paul Walker, could have possibly been on crack cocaine due to the excessive amount of time they spent together. This would explain the failure of 1,043 out of 3,234 loan associations in the U.S. As the chairman of the Federal Reserve System, Walker is still responsible for the $160 billion taxpayer dollars that were wasted. Moving on to next year, President Bill Clinton passed his first act as president, named the Deflection Reduction Act. This act slowly brought us out of the worst depression since the 1980s. But when we look through these problems, I see a very bright path that I hopefully believe will lead to a prospering future for the U.S. Last year, the government agreed to give Mike Wallace's research team a $50,000 grant, shortly after his discovery that sharks cannot get cancer. Maddie, they're still looking, but I sure do hope they can find a cure. Well, we had a great start to our year now that the nation is a safer place now that drug lord Pablo Escobar is dead. Escobar supplied 90% of the drugs in the U.S. With the drugs off the street, our nation is ending the year with a booming economy and enthusiastic in government. Hopefully, Clinton can keep up the good work in 1994. You stay classy, Houston. Back to you, Maddie.
Wow, I'm glad the police and government are doing well. Now I'm going to talk about some of the most important occurrences in the world that has happened since 1990.
One of the most important dates, not just in this time period, but also in history, might be July 6, 1990, the day the Cold War ended. The Cold War began with rising tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union. Both countries have been involved in many scandals since the end of World War II in 1947. Between the Cuban Missile Crisis and the U.S. having our missiles pointed towards the USSR in Turkey and Greece, America has had many standpoints on how the Cold War with Russia should be handled. from Eisenhower's belief in brinkmanship to JFK's standpoint on flexible response. Now, thanks to the great strides that our presidents have created, the war is over, and we might even go as far as saying that we have avoided nuclear war. Another monumental achievement that has occurred in the past year is the dissolution of the USSR. This event lines up hand in hand with the end of the Cold War.
In December 1991, the world watched in amazement as the Soviet Union disintegrated into 15 separate countries. Its collapse was hailed as a victory for freedom and triumph of democracy over totalitarianism. Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev the eighth leader of the Soviet Union, resigned, declaring his office extinct, handed over its powers, which included Soviet nuclear missile launch codes, to the Russian President Boris Yeltsin. This led to a complete reformation of political, economic, and military alliances all over the globe. Thanks for tuning in to our very special edition of Through the Ages. We will see you here next week at KHTX National News. Signing off from Houston, Texas, this is Maddie Phillips. Have a good night.